to do today is have a bit of a chat, a bit of an update about one of our new-ish spin on one of our meetups. It's our 60 plus travel lovers meetup. We are doing a completely new spin on it. We have a new facilitator, Charlene, who's going to be joining us on this call today to talk through some of her ideas and what's coming up and what you can expect. And this is a chance for you to share a little bit about what you're looking forward to. So for those of you who are watching live, you can drop in the chat and share, oh, no, here comes the sun back again. You can share things that you would like to be able to do, you'd like to be able to talk about. And if you're watching the recording, use this as your jumping off point so that you can get into these meetups. We're going to be doing these meetups every month, just like they have been. They were started by our amazing member, Pam McFadden. Pam, thank you for your service, my dear. Thank you for the time that you spent running this meetup and for finding an amazing person to pass it along to. So we're really excited to be able to breathe some new life into this meetup and do some new stuff with it. Charlene has some really incredible ideas. I loved talking with her a few weeks ago about some of the things that she wants to do. She is a longtime member of the 60 plus travel lovers meetup, and now taking it over as the facilitator, she'll really be giving, bringing some new things. So not just talking about topics with this group, but also possibly bringing in some dual meetups with some of the other virtual meetups that we have, having guest speakers from time to time. I don't want to give it all away, so we're going to let her come in here. Here you are. So good to see you. Welcome to the.
You too. Glad to be here. Can you hear me?
I can. Okay. Perfect.
Thank you. So I'm excited to be here. Although I'm not like Pam. I've never wrestled an alligator, and I don't think that's in my bucket list of things to do, unless it was like at a bar and it was like alligator bites or something. I don't think it would be an actual alligator. So
you could wrestle a fried alligator bite.
That
works too.
That I could definitely do.
And point of clarification, people are asking when the 60 plus travel lovers, and I think Deborah, you're right. It's the fourth Thursday of the month, alternating between 12 o'clock noon Eastern time and 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Is that right?
Yes. I think one of the things that I thought about, so I'm 60, although, one of my jokes is like, traveling when you're 60 is really no different than when you're 59. It's just kind of a number. And then the more years you add in your 60s, actually the more discounts you get. So it's always, that's like one of the positive things about getting older. So but I also thought, all of us are kind of in a different situation. Some of us still work, some of us provide care, some of us are retired or part-time retired. So I thought in order to broaden the participation that we would do half of the meetings at the regular time of 12 and then the other half at 6, and just kind of play around with that and see how, if we can get some more people involved. And then one of the things that I thought about, like I think about, because I'm on Zoom a lot and I'm on meetings a lot, and I think having an agenda for each meeting and a topic is something that I'm hoping will also not only entice people who are in the 60 plus group, but people who are in whatever group they want to be, but think that we're the cool kids on the block and want to participate. And the other piece is I really would love to collaborate and communicate with other groups, because I think there's a great sharing of information and resources. One of the things about this group, and I've been here for a long time, and I'm in outside of Boston, so I've actually done meetups in person. And, it's a great way to, if there's an event that you want to travel to in, New Hampshire, maybe it's putting together a group of people who, want to go do that. It's putting together, if there's I don't know, the Mass Audubon Society has all of these great walks at one of their different locations. And so, you know, why not view that as a travel opportunity? Travel doesn't have to be getting on, you know, planes, trains, or automobiles. It could be coming in by foot. So I came up with a list of goals, which I wanted to share. I'm going to read them. So I think, you know, participate in a welcoming group of women who are interested in local, national, international travel, and learning how to find great travel opportunities, right? Because that's what this collective does, is really shares great information, sharing resources, travel tips, new travel apps, pictures and videos. So I'm actually going to Hawaii next week, and really excited. And so one of my possible topics that I'd love to talk about is transportation. So how do you get to the airport? How do you get through the airport? And then how do you get from the airport? And especially if you're, you know, you could be with your kids, you could be, you got injured doing something, and, you know, you've got to think about how to make through the 2-mile trek at Logan or at Dulles. And how do you do that if that happens to you, right? And then, you know, or if you've got, I don't know, you went to Paris and came back and you bought 20 bags full of stuff and you got to lug that through the terminal. Like, how do you do this? You know, and it's about asking, like, so, you know, how do you ask the airlines, hotels, venues for help with accommodations? I have a background in working on adaptive and inclusive programs. And so people sometimes need adaptive and inclusive options that they may not have thought about. So how do you find those resources that can help you with that? You know, international travel, right? Anybody who's gone overseas, you know, if something happens, do you know who to call, right? Do you know where the embassy is? Do you know, or the consulate? Do you know what resources they have? Or some other organizations, if you really have some big issues, you can always call your senator or congressperson. They do have caseworkers on their staff that can help with that. You know, I mentioned engaging in quarterly meetups with other wonderful groups. I think it's a nice way to, you know, to get everybody together. You know, just age is a number. It's not, doesn't mean that, you know, that you can't learn from another group or they can't learn from us. I'd love to do a survey and send out 10 questions, cool. Top 10 list, right, on topics that you want to hear about, and then also inviting some guest speakers for monthly meetings. And then I'd love to do a session on learning how to write a travel article.
Oh, I love that.
So one of the other topics were, you know, a couple other topics I thought about: health insurance options. You know, when you're traveling, what do you need to know about your health insurance and what transfers? What to do if your car breaks down. This happened to my boss at my job, and she was going to Canada a couple weeks ago, and she drove up, and they had all these floods in Montreal, and her light came on and said, "Don't drive." And she, it was a Saturday, and she didn't realize that the Toyota places in Canada weren't open on Saturdays. So she had to figure out what she could do. And she wound up finding a mechanic, a separate mechanic, who figured out that it was her airbag. It was the airbag light that came on.
Oh.
So you know, that's something like I never would have thought of until this happened.
Right.
If any of you remember this great movie with John Candy and Steve Martin called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes. That's my Thanksgiving movie.
It's my favorite Thanksgiving movie. But I'm adding to that boats in public transportation. So when you're putting together your itinerary, for any of you who are in Boston recently, we've really upgraded our ferry service and water taxis. And so, you know, that's a great option. It's like a trip within a trip. And then how to define, you know, if you want to create a luxury trip, but also how you do a bargain trip. And then
Cool.
But for those of us who are over 60, senior discounts, like we could do a whole session on senior discounts.
You could create like a whole resource guide of senior discounts. I would love that. Just a list, because there's so much. That's awesome.
So that's kind of the idea. Looking for some participants and input and, guidance and involvement. And, I think this will be great.
It sounds great. And you are full of ideas, Charlene. There's so much that you can do with it. And I love that you are thinking about this from a topics-oriented perspective. And I think that is what makes our meetups really vibrant, is when you go in and there's, okay, we're going to talk about this today. Maybe it's even a loose topic, but it's a place to start so that people kind of know what to expect and what to bring. But then also, bringing in guest speakers, working on projects together that can help other Wanderful members, whether it's lists or, blog posts, or I think that's fantastic. And I love the topics that you're bringing up, because so many of them are useful and hopefully will be useful to everybody one of these days if we all make it where we want to go in our lives. So I think that's great. And for anyone who's watching too, if you're watching live, and there are certain topics that you want to make sure that we're talking about, you can drop it right here in the chat. Or anybody who's watching either live or the recording, just send a message to Charlene. Charlene, I assume that that's okay with you, that they can just reach out and say, I'd love to talk about this, or I'd love to speak, about something, or I know somebody who could be great to speak. I think the great thing about these meetups is that they're very collaborative. So being able to help, to offer something, or if you know somebody, having them do something, I think all of that, this can be what you make of it, not just, passively taking whatever topic is going to be discussed. And Stacy, I see people typing now, so that's good. Stacy has retiring abroad, which is a great one.
Yeah, that's a really good topic. I'm a gerontologist, so that means that I'm all about aging and setting up new systems and programs. And so I've been looking at retiring abroad because I know a lot of people are talking about it. So I think that would be a great topic to talk about. Really good.
Yeah, great. That's so exciting. Well, so your next meetup is in September.
Yes.
I'm looking at what date it is. Thursday, September 26th. You're going to do a 6 p.m. Eastern time meetup. So hopefully a little bit better for people who are coming in on the West Coast. And then the following one in October will be again at that earlier time, so we can catch people who are in Europe, Africa, Middle East a little bit better. And do you know what you're going to be talking about for your first session? Or still TBD?
It's TBD.
Okay.
It's TBD. But what I will do is I will promise to send something out in advance. I think maybe what I'll start with is trying to put together a survey in advance of that to ask about some of the topics people are interested in, and guest speakers. But I will figure out something really interesting, maybe changing from summer to fall travel, which seems impossible. We're getting.
I know, we're getting so close. No, that sounds great. And each month too, I know we'll send out messages. We'll let people know what the theme is, what to expect for each session, so that is something that you have a heads up on early on. Mm-hmm. And again too, as you come up, and anyone watching, as you come up with ideas for topics, share them. You can always add them in the comments of the events as well, so that we have it tracked there. But I see, a few things: confounding ageism as a talk. Oh, fall travel is the best. It is. I know everyone's going to be traveling in the fall too. It's so nice. But yeah, I think there's so many great topics, and I love that you're doing a really nice variety between coming in and meeting up versus having a speaker. And to clarify on that too, so we are live streaming in here now, but our meetups, if you've been to our meetups before, they're usually hosted outside of the Mighty Network platform. They used to be on Zoom, and now we're actually moving to Google Meet. But there's a link that's inside the event that you just click. It'll take you to the external meetup link, And we do that for two reasons. The first is because we want you to be able to participate. This isn't just a sort of watch and learn. This is also an actively engaging opportunity. So we'd love for you to have cameras on. We'd love to be able to see you. We'd love for your microphone to be unmuted so that you can actually participate, that it's actually a meetup. And the second reason is because, well, it's not a reason, but a detail to know is that all of our meetups are not recorded. We may adjust that for something where maybe there's a guest speaker and we want to have a recording that we can access later. But anything that's sort of about sharing your own personal experience, we don't record those because we want to create a safe space. We want you to feel comfortable being able to share what you're going through in your life openly with other people without wondering, oh gosh, is this going to show up in a recording later? So our meetups are a little bit different from the live stream that you're watching here. You're going to find it in an external link. You'll be able to actually see other faces and participate and communicate with other members. And it's a really nice way to just connect with one another over time zones. You'll meet women from all around the world who, you know, are going through different experiences in their lives. And I think we all really stand to learn so much from each other. Patricia also just added, I often speak on insurance and what to do if something happens while you're traveling, especially solo. Yeah, that is a great idea. I love that. So there's so much. I think it's just, you're just going to keep having more and more ideas, Charlene.
I think it's great. I'm really excited. I think it's been great being in the group, and I always felt like I was missing the meetings because I wasn't sure of the time. And now I think if we have this time and also send out reminders about coming in, and I'm hoping that if we have some great topics, people are really going to come in and participate, and we're just going to grow this, and we're going to be working with participating with other groups. And I think that will be really helpful too, because I just think the sharing of information, like I've already learned a ton from just looking through what people are chatting about and thinking about it. And like I love trip planning, and I in a previous life I used to work in politics and did advanced work and worked on a lot of different things. And so, you know, what you realize is that you've always got to have plan B, C, D, E, and E. And you really want to know like who to call, like who are you going to call if you have an issue? And I think we just don't ever think about that. And I think the expertise of the people who are in this group and in all the groups is amazing. So why not use it to, you know, to better our trips and share best practices. So I'm just really delighted to be here and doing this, and really excited.
I love it. I think that's going to be so great. And I can't wait to hear all the different things that you talk about and all the connections that are made from this. And I hope everybody who's been watching is getting a good sense of what to expect, you know, what's coming up, and that you're feeling really excited and jazzed about it, and that it's giving you so many more ideas about what could come from here. You know, this is just the beginning. So make sure you show up. September 26th, so Thursday, September 26th is the first one. I'm going to drop actually the link to the next event right here in the chat so you have it. But the other thing that you can do is you can RSVP to all of them. So when it asks you to RSVP, you can have it so that you RSVP to all events, and that way you'll get reminders. And don't forget that you can export these to your calendar. So if you are somebody who lives for their Google Calendar or their Outlook calendar, Apple, definitely export it in there so that you know and you have the reminders. These are the times. And the other nice thing about, I believe there is a sync to calendar option. Yeah. Okay. So the sync to calendar option, just so you know, this is expert level stuff. If you sync it, then if anything changes, if the time ever changes or for some reason, it will automatically update in your calendar as well. So that's a really nice feature too for you. If you can either add it and it's kind of a stack event that you add to your calendar, or if you sync it, you'll get all the updates. So so make sure that you're giving yourself those reminders, because I know sometimes we're not checking the Mighty Network all the time. So being able to have that second space is great. But Charlene, any last notes about what you're hoping that people who are watching this know about what to expect in the meetup, or any last words as people get ready for the first one next month.
So I'd like to say, give it a shot. Come join. You know, groups are made because people participate. Like, I want to hear the cool stories. Sharing cool stories is great. Sharing uncool things that happened is really good because it's a learning thing. And, you know, like you, I love to travel and want to travel more. And I'm always looking for ideas on where to go and what to do. And I really think that, you know, travel could be what we do as part of our daily life, right? So maybe it's just taking a different road and parking the car and going for a walk around the neighborhood. That is a travel opportunity. But I like to be able to, you know, go to Hawaii and find that there's a wonderful travel person in Hawaii that we can go and grab lunch. Like, that is kind of where I see this going to. So I hope you come. I hope you bring your friends. I hope you come out, answer the survey and join us, and we'll have lots of fun.
I know it's going to be awesome. And I hope you have a great trip to Hawaii, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes. I can't wait to see some good pictures.
Yes, I'm going with my parents. My dad's 89, so it's so I'm definitely putting on my gerontologist hat, and I'm doing a lot of the planning. And I feel like I'm going to learn a ton about how to travel in many different ways on this trip. So, I will definitely report back, and it will be great.
Love. Well, thanks so much, Charlene.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking leadership role. Everyone, thanks for watching. Hopefully you all will be able to gather in September. If not, you've got the full list of events right there. So yes, so Deborah, October, we're expecting you. So thanks again. Have a great rest of your day.
Have a great day.
Talk to you all soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.